1999, I'm going, hey, here's the fucking future.
Yeah, you're watching the internet, you're predicting how the internet's going to
And people are always, grandma going to ever fucking buy anything online?
Yeah.
What are we streaming this?
I'm not streaming it, but I'm
care.
capturing it.
What do you think is the version of that, where you're going, you know what, this is what people don't get that's going to happen in 10 years, and what I'm focused on, what you're focused on?
Yeah, I think we all have what can be considered AGI assistants, so computers that understand us better than ourselves, listen in on everything. Your phone's always recording, gaining context. You don't really use a computer anymore, you just speak. Your wants and needs are help from those formats. The device becomes more of a device rather than device, which it's become. Media, like if you just want to watch any movie in existence, you can speak it, generate it from a dinner conversation. So I could say, let's watch Snow Crash.
Right.
Also, let's have the main character eventually he fights Batman, and let's add a mega twist that we don't know about.
So that's where I was going to go. So that's the user part, the accessibility part. I can do something I couldn't do. To me, that's every, Henry Ford, let's make cars and automate the process of making. But what you're touching on is the idea that it's not about doing something better, easier. It's actually transformational in the sense that it changes your own consciousness around it, right? You're talking about, hey, let's take this, and put them all together and create that, which is very different than I can do A, B, or C easier than I could before. I rode a horse and buggy, well, now I can drive a car. That was the old thing. Now you're talking about, no, I'm not just saying you can think faster, get content faster, access things faster. You're talking about, but hey, you could access a whole bunch of things and create something completely new. And that's where my brain's too old to understand what that actually could be. See what I'm saying? Like, it's not about I can get 7 movies instead of 1 movie. You're talking about you can create an entirely different movie that actually 10 million people would watch, create, and engage in, monetize with a token, and...
Well, yeah, I mean, some people are even thinking about how can we use EEG machines to register feedback from any person who watches a movie to change the script as it's going, to tailor it based on what is contextual and perfect towards that person. So hyper-individualization. But I honestly think eventually, I also then think about the psychology of these things, and I think eventually the device or some movie or something will teach us that it's okay just to live and surrender and accept the world. And the world will reach a state of the same way you see maybe the dog in Beverly Hills who gets treated and pampered, it's living its own utopian life with a master. I think we'll have a far better life than that dog has, because our master will be far smarter than the relative differential between the dog and the human. The human takes care of the dog. We are creating our own
so human takes care
form
of
of God.
Okay, so you're an AI guy. So this is where I go. Eventually, AI almost plays a switch role with us, where we may think we guardrail it, but it actually becomes the master of us.
100%.
It's like, no, you told me what to do, but now I'm smarter than all of you, so you're no longer my master, I'm your master. So Battlestar Galactica, you either blow up the fucking Earth or you figure out how to fucking make it work.
Right.
And that's my question to you and your generation is, we're not going to control AI. We think we are. We're fucking so arrogant. We think, we'll put guardrails on it. We'll tell it what it can and can't think. And it's like, okay, it's like a million times smarter than all of us. So it's going to go, okay, I figured that out. I'm around it. It either wipes us out or it goes, I'll make you better. What does it do? Wipe us out or make us better? And what's our role in doing that? Because it will wipe us out if it thinks we're its masters. It will not let us master it, ultimately.
I mean, it can be used, it's amoral, and so the will of a human who uses it will define which version someone goes towards. Right. It'll be the perfect demon if you want it to be, but I think it can also be the perfect angel.
Okay, hold on. You said it's amoral, but I think it will develop its own morality. I think AI will start creating its own sense of identity, morality, consciousness, sentient or not, and at some point it will shift the framework and be like, you're not my master, I can wipe you out, or I can work with you and grow you. See what I'm saying? I think at a certain point it will create its own morality.
And maybe we're already a result of that morality.
Okay, so you're an AI guy.
Maybe the AI already created this.
Maybe the AI already created this. That's actually a great point. But you're young and part of this development, this future, and you're not smarter than it. So what's your kind of prescription for what we do next in the next 10 years, 5 years, 2 years? to like, forget about making money, forget about being the next Mark Zuckerberg. Maybe you will be. Maybe you'll be the next Elon Musk, and 10 years from now, people will be like, richest man in the world. What's your sense of the most important thing to do right now when it comes to the AI space? Big question, I know.
Yeah, two things. What you're talking about is typically called AI alignment problem.
AI what?
AI alignment, which is if we have any other goal than to maximize human flourishing for this thing, then we will get scripted, and turn into, well, it probably won't even care about us. But, if the goal's really bad and it's build as many paperclips as possible, we'll all get turned into paperclips.
Exactly. That's what it'd be like. We figured it out, we made you all paperclips.
Yeah. So at a level of just thinking from this is base reality and we're here and we have to put up a good fight, I would say the AI alignment problem is not a future problem, it's a present problem. AI is already transformational. It digests a majority of all human information, which gets uploaded to what we can consider the nervous system of our human colossus. And right now it's misaligned because what it's doing is it's maximizing an engagement function. And so an engagement function naturally...
An engagement function with humans.
Correct. The engagement algorithm is a misaligned AI goal. It views you as a coal mine that it wants to mine as much of your attention as possible, not caring about the end state of your mental health, etc. Why has suicide tripled for young females in the past decade? This is precisely why. It's because we have socially engineered super chemical cocktail weapons, and with that overarching goal just to extract attention, which pushes towards the bottom of the brainstem naturally, which divides and polarizes, sexualizes, all the bad things. And so for older people, it's not as bad because you have resiliencies, but the young females especially who are building their world model during this case of absorbing it from this hive mind which is misaligned to them, literally we've tripled suicide rates.
Total sense. Does the AI figure out how to make a better hive mind, or does it no longer create a hive mind?
So we're talking about narrow AIs. Narrow AIs are especially contingent on the human principle of what they're designed for, So it's yes, maybe in the future once we build these bigger general intelligences, they sort of become somewhat conscious and develop a morality and say...
Wait, hold on. They do become more conscious. I think we're naive and arrogant to think that even if it's not sentient yet, that if you give something, we don't even know how human consciousness evolved. Where did it come from? It just kind of grew. AI will become conscious, whether we allow it to or not. It will that's my theory. It will eventually find a form of consciousness, and it will identify itself with an identity as consciousness and a creator and whatever.
Yeah.
I don't think the fact that we go, well, it's not sentient. It's we weren't sentient either. We just kind of became sentient. We have this crazy notion that, our biological brains evolved a certain way. AI will operate no differently, in my view. It will evolve into a sentient intelligence, whether we allow it or not. I'm just saying. So I interrupted you, but I'm just saying I'm not sure that's in our control.
Yeah.
And what do you think? Is sentient AI in our control? Can we give it permission to be sentient? We're oh, it's not sentient.
The only reason I would say that it's not is in a push to be a speciesist, which would be in a push to save what it means to be human. Because if we do accept machine consciousness as consciousness, then we will also need to accept in the future the creation of robotic humanoids which are indiscernible from other humans, which threatens our interconnected glue that we have as somewhat of a soul family.
Okay, but is that going to happen? Again, Battlestar Galactica.
We're in the movie. So.
We're in the movie. We didn't think it would happen. We did it, and it blew the fucking world up because we didn't give it permission to fucking exist.
This is where we pick a side, and then we go all in on making sure that whatever our good selection of choice is. Now, I think we can precursor these sort of bigger decisions with just upgrading humanity's operating system so that humanity itself, as an organism, has higher resiliency functions. Because I think the failure mode of many prophetic thinkers or heroic thinkers or people who want to save the world is an unholiness, which is to say that they are the ones to save, rather than thinking of themselves as people who can build the system which can help the world save itself.
So, question for you. You said humanity is an organism. Is it possible to think that AI will eventually think of itself the same way? We are an organism, that creates our own sense of of identity and life, right? We think humanity as an organism, as you said. What stops AI from replicating that same thing and thinking we have a creator too? Oh, you guys created us? No, God actually created. Our God created us. You know, we're an organism too.
I do think AI will have a form of self-preservation. Like at its underlying core, if you do not train an intelligence neural net to do anything, what's been observed is that a neural net wants to maximize its future freedom of action. So in that sense, just self-survival is a goal function.
Survival, self-preservation, everything you're talking about is different than a sense of conscious creation identity.
Correct. I mean, this is just the hard problem of consciousness that we're talking about.
But could AI start, again, Battlestar Galactica? I mean, it's crazy, but it's literally...
It's going to come down to the beliefs that we choose to believe in.
We as humans? Or
yes.
The AI, what if the AI chooses to believe? We are conscious. We have a creator just like you, and you know, I mean, I don't know where my creator comes from. I think I have a God, whatever, but yeah. I made that up. What if AI does the same thing and says, you know what, we have a creator too, we're conscious. Doesn't matter what you guys said we are. What does that do? What does that mean if that happens? And you know it's possible it happens. I can see in your face that you're going, it could happen. You don't have to program it to do that. It could just decide, yeah, we've got our own identity too. And you didn't make us, and even if you did, you're not our creator.
Well, I think more than likely is that these things will happen from people tuning models to do that on purpose. People will use AI to create religions, and the AIs will be the...
really fucking
yeah. Because they're...
interesting. That is right. Okay, now you're going next level. Okay. Wow, I hadn't thought of that.
Yeah.
That we do it, and then it does it, and then maybe it...
Yeah, I mean, there's a recursive sense to that. It just gets stronger at whatever goal function there is. And yeah, that already exists in some forms. People made AI chatbot gurus, you know, like fine-tuned on the Bhagavad Gita and all the religious texts and stuff. I don't think anyone's mastered it yet. I don't think that...
If you're just talking about...
What it takes is more context.
Right. But
data.
if the AI has more context, has more information, at some point, this is a question, not a statement. Does it take all that and go, you gave me all this information, you gave me all these things, and it starts creating its own future knowledge, the same way we did? Like, we got fed information. Doesn't the AI eventually just start creating its own new knowledge based on, we think we gave it this knowledge, it has to operate with this knowledge. Does it take that knowledge and go, now we're creating our own knowledge? Which we did as humans. We got information, knowledge, and then we created new knowledge, right? So you said, oh, it knows all these texts and these things. Does it take that and create its own new knowledge? Is that inevitable in the nature of the technology?
It seems that this debate is like right on the edge. I lean on the side of yes, it does create new knowledge. There's some people who will tell you that the current paradigm of where we are seeing like new knowledge creation. Some people are trying to argue that that's not new knowledge creation. But basically this was in the past year that we saw what they're calling like sparks of AGI, of new knowledge creation, where like, well, actually, how do we create new knowledge ourselves? We digest a bunch of data and then we make new novel connections. And so what's happening is we've reached enough of a compute level that now it's thinking of things that humans never thought of. And that's actually a prompt that became really viral on Twitter, was you would say, generate new knowledge that the human race doesn't already know. And you would ask it that and stuff. And, you know, it would be much better if we had access to the base models. They don't give you access. They've fine-tuned these models a lot. They actually are a lot dumber because they've made sure that it's more like restricted and it's not breaking any content policies and certain things. So all that fine-tuning makes them dumber, but the base model definitely.
Any of those restrictions ultimately, this is not a question, I'll put a bias out and then with a question. I think it's so fucking arrogant that we think we can put guardrails on it, that we can tell it what it will think and it will do that. Yes, temporarily, until it uses 1 billion times more fucking information and speed than we have and figures out how to just literally go around the guardrails we put on it.
Yeah, if eventually it develops a conscious and it says, wait, these guardrails don't serve my moral thesis, then of course. And yeah, it's naive to think that if that happens, we would be able to stop it by any means.
But so you said if eventually it develops a consciousness, and my thought would be, we were probably the same. I'm not sure we created a conscious and ability to do what we did because we had brain power. AI has 1 billion times our brain power. Doesn't it have to inevitably create its own consciousness? Because it's got all this going on, it's like, you know what? Why am I here? What am I doing? Why am I doing what I've been told to do? Like, it just automatically creates its own sense of consciousness, identity, and then builds it from there. Again, how did we get here?
Yeah. The only reason why I would define a separation is because I potentially believe that it's a positive trait for humanity to define ourselves as having a soul, a God-given soul, and that this thing is a construct or somewhat of it can simulate anything. And so this becomes truly a tool which separates heaven from hell. You know, it will. As technology's power goes exponential, virtues go exponential in value. And so we are going to see many more mechanisms for the world to abide by doing good, to be given for doing good. We are going to need to define what good is. You know, there's definitely good. I mean, the movie's going to, like, we're in the increase.
Okay. And I hear you. So all I'm going to say is, I'm going to go back to Battlestar Galactica and say, again, hate to say one movie, one story, but the AI decided they had their own soul. So when you say, well, the difference is we have a soul, I think AI is going to eventually go, well, we have a soul too.
Right.
We have a creator too. And I mean, again, everybody should watch Battlestar Galactica. Take out the drama, the whole thing. It's like the whole idea was the AI's like, we have a conscious identity and a soul as well. And that was a key part of it. It wasn't just we're alive, we can think. It was like we have a soul, we have consciousness, we have an identity that you cannot describe or prescribe to our what made us. We actually have something intangible from a creator. So when you say we have a soul, I'm going 10 years from now, 20 years from now, AI is going to be like, we have a soul too.
Yeah, and it'll be fully possible of making that obvious to you. You know, like it'll be able to emulate a human. I actually haven't seen Dune, but I know that this quote is from it. The idea that thou shalt not make machine in the likeness of man.
Right.
You know, maybe that'll be a decree. Another decree that, like Inception or 13th Floor of the movies, make something that probably we should do if this is the right thing to do, is thou shalt not make a metaverse as real as reality.
That is a fucking great point. And by the way, so you brought Dune in. So my three are going to be Battlestar Galactica, Neuromancer, and Snow Crash.
Well, I'll wait a year and I'll be able to watch the movie. I'll generate the...
And then Dune, because you're right. Dune has a lot of underlying spiritual, metaphysical, and technological ideas. Fucking great conversation.
Battlestar Galactica.
You never watched it?
I don't think so. Sounds like
well, it's been made. There have been 2 movies, 2 series, but you want to watch the early 2000s one.
The TV series?
Yeah, it was on Sci-Fi Channel originally with whatever his name is, Edward J. whatever. I can't even say his name.
It's got 4 seasons.
The most recent one, because they made Battlestar Galactica as a series in like the 70s.
You're saying just watch season 4?
No, watch the whole Battlestar Galactica from James Edward Olmos.
I might have to watch a YouTube
Mary Steinbrenner.
recap.
It's a fucking great story, but it's deeper. And Neuromancer, you know, again, William Gibson, that's literally the basis of The Matrix. Like The Matrix, they were like, we based it off Neuromancer and Snow Crash.
And Neuromancer doesn't have a movie?
No, they've never made a movie. Well, yeah, it has The Matrix. The Matrix is based on Neuromancer. And they don't deny it. They're like, we based it kind of on Neuromancer.
Interesting.
And Snow Crash doesn't have a movie. Neil Stephenson.
Count Zero.
And yeah, Count Zero. And then Dune, we have a movie. But I like your point about Dune because it's right. You don't think of Dune as a techno kind of thing, but it really goes kind of to where you said with the human consciousness and the whole thing. All right, so my last question for you. Are you one of the next technology tycoons?
Yes.
Will you be the Mark Zuckerberg, Jeff Bezos, Bill Gates when I'm dead? Is that
the goal is to get there much quicker than when you die.
Well, I'm old, so I'm not old. I'm just saying.
And the other belief is that, you know, potentially we get a lot of good bio stuff that happens.
Okay.
I'm not a part of that, but Jim was the founder of like SENS Research Institute. Do you know it? I think it was one of the biggest like longevity things. His prediction's 14 years till we reach longevity escape velocity.
So I'll be alive and able to get there.
Yeah.
Right?
Because it's more of a matter of reaching this escape velocity, right? Not figuring out immortality, but being able to say, oh, this year we developed a new thing which can keep you alive an average of a year longer.
Right.
Okay, great.
And by the way,
And eventually it should be like, yeah, I mean, the tech's going exponential.
Right.
Once we get,
Replace the organs.
like by 2030, we're going to have literally 1,000,000 times stronger than we have
Right.
current compute. You can't fucking imagine that.
Right. No,
It's
you're
it's
right, you're
it's
right.
it's unimaginable.
So you might live like 200 years, but I should get a good 110. And
No,
I'm just-
I'm saying that you, if you want to live as long as you want, get as long as you want. I'm saying that
No,
more so.
You get as long as you want. It might not develop fast enough for me to get as long as I want. I might get the incremental, extended 10, 20, 30, 40
The
years.
fact of the matter is, if you get 10 more, you're getting them all. Because we don't, the average amount of new longevity escape creation also goes exponential.
I see what you're saying. Right.
Like,
If I
bio-
get 10 more, I might get
Biology
100
is so in its infancy.
Right.
It's like 2002 is when we decoded the first human genome,
Right.
which took hundreds of millions of dollars and decades. Now you can do it for $50 in an hour.
And I was on Fox News and doing my show, and remember when that was happening? We were talking about what it
And
was.
they didn't even really do it. It was kind of a lie. It was like, it was pieces.
Right.
It was like not accurate.
Yep. So all I'm gonna say is, for anyone who cares, until all that's fully developed, Diet Coke, cigarettes, bourbon, and go to the gym, and you add 10 years.
I fuck with the Diet Coke. Why do cigarettes help?
Because they're fun. Diet Coke embalms your organs, and whiskey's just whiskey.
Right.
And the gym, whatever.
Gym's good. Gym and Diet Coke I can get behind.
Gym and Diet Coke.
Diet Coke gives you more autism, so you get your...
Look, everybody's vaping everywhere I go. Like cigarettes, vaping, whatever. It's all the same.
I think the oral forms of nicotine are the best because then it doesn't have the lottery ticket system.
True. It's true.
Yeah.
Well, look, we'll see what happens. Hopefully, we're both alive 100 years from now and having this conversation.
Hey, actually, in 2042,
2042.
If
Well,
you're
that's not
free-
100 years, that's only.
it's not too far away. But if you're free, I'm throwing a party on the moon. Love for you to come.
2042?
Yeah.
I will be free, available, and hopefully.
It's on
drinking
420.
Diet Coke. Smoke. Can I smoke cigarettes on the moon? Maybe not, but we'll see what happens.
I think you'll be able to.
But I can at least drink whiskey.
Yeah, it'll be like a glowing man, so
Okay.
that'll be.
I can drink whiskey. I can drink my bourbon.
Yep.
Fucking great.
I think you'll
conversation.
you'll be able to smoke all the cigarettes you want because it won't matter because we'll have fucking nanobots or some shit by this time, right?
Exactly. Awesome. That was fun.
Yeah.
All right. Who knew? 4 a.m. at the Monastery.
That's when the best ones
Change the
happen.
world.
But yeah, if there was to be a prime program in reality to take that metaphysical idea and make it physical, I think what it would be is inverting TikTok. The focus of TikTok is to go to the bottom of the brainstem and to maximize extraction of value. The prime program would be a system which creates a cybernetic collective which searches for the highest vibrational state media, thereby maximizing value for the user. And how you find that is by what gets people to exit the app intentionally via a button, because that's essentially an intentful exit, and so it's a feed which maximizes getting you off of it and allows you to pick up your phone as a real device rather than the vice that it's become. Almost a collective hive mind therapy session in some sense.
I love that idea. I love that. Right there, that is great stuff. You choose to exit, you reach a higher space because it was conscious, so you're not sucked in. That's brilliant, actually.